Apple has recently decided to implement the M1 processor into the iPad Air, so I thought it'd be a good idea to take a look at my iPad Pro that uses the same M1 chip and talk about how it's been faring in my daily life and if it's really possible to use the iPad to replace your laptop. Even with the introduction of the M1 in the latest iPad Air, I still think the iPad Pro is the iPad you should get if you're looking to get some proper work done and you really want to use the iPad as a laptop replacement. I won't get into it here because I've already shared some of my thoughts in my breakdown of the most recent Apple event. If you haven't checked it out, give it a watch. Link is in the description. Okay, so when Apple introduced keyboard support for the iPad, Apple advertised the iPad as a computer replacement. Keyboard support really added a lot of functionality to the iPad and made the iPad more computer-like. Well, last year Apple took it a step further and inserted the M1 chip into the iPad Pro. That's the same chip found in the current Mac Mini, MacBook Air, and 13-inch MacBook Pros. So it really is more computer-like than ever before. But does that mean it's good enough to be your next computer? Well, for a certain user it could be, but to be honest, the iPad still lacks a lot of the creature comforts you'd expect in a modern laptop, which limit its functionality and hold the iPad back from being a serious work machine. Here's why I don't really use my iPad, even though I want to. Before we look at some of the issues I've had with the iPad, let's quickly go over what the iPad Pro has going for it. Well, first of all, the iPad is light, which makes it a great machine for using it both on the go or on your couch. Spec-wise, the iPad has the powerful M1 chip, 8 gigs of memory on low storage options or 16 gigs on higher storage options, the Pro Motion display, a Thunderbolt port, a LiDAR scanner on the back, and support for the Apple Pencil 2. Apple Pencil support is as good as it's ever been. It attaches and charges straight from the side of the iPad, which means you don't have to remember to charge it separately. Writing or drawing is also smooth, with the help of the adaptive 120Hz Pro Motion display. I also want to acknowledge the LiDAR scanner on the iPad. While I think it's a bit of a niche feature at the moment, it's pretty unique and will come in handy for certain professionals, for example in the construction or interior design space. With the software, you're also getting all the perks of the Apple ecosystem. That means your photos, Apple reminders, and notes are going to sync between your Apple devices. You'll also have access to AirDrop, which is a great way to send files between your iPad, iPhone, or Mac. And if you're using AirPods, they'll also automatically switch between your devices when you move from one device to another. On top of that, you have access to a great suite of apps like Procreate and LumaFusion. They're not as powerful as full-size desktop apps, but they're still pretty great. And they're also an affordable one-time purchase, which makes them potentially viable for creating digital art or video editing. But unfortunately, this is where the issues begin. The first issue I came across is with the iPad's limited multitasking capabilities. I think good multitasking capabilities are fundamental for anyone looking to get some serious work done, but this has been an issue that iPad OS has been struggling with. Apple has slowly been implementing new features to address this though. Since this current iPad Pro's initial release, iPadOS 15 has introduced a bunch of useful multitasking improvements. For example, the new multitasking menu at the top of apps lets you enter full screen, split view, or slide over more easily without having to rely on gesture controls. They've also introduced the shelf, which lets you quickly switch between windows of the same app. Unfortunately, even with these features, iPad multitasking is still quite limited. For starters, not all apps have multi-window support. While apps like Safari and GoodNotes let you have multiple windows you can access from the shelf, other popular apps like Notion and Procreate lack this feature. Not only that, but the free version of YouTube doesn't let you play videos in the background. That means you won't be running YouTube while doing anything else, unless you're willing to give up a portion of your screen or subscribe to YouTube Premium. Well, alright, maybe you're thinking that you won't be multitasking that much. I mean, you're on the go and the iPad's screen isn't that big. But what if you're at home or in the office and you have a bigger external monitor available? Well, that leads me into the next problem. The external monitor support on the iPad is a bit lacking. Right now, the iPad doesn't natively support an extended display, just screen mirroring. That means you won't be getting additional screen real estate when you have the iPad connected up to a monitor. It just shows exactly what's on the iPad screen. And the weird aspect ratio means you're going to have black bars on the side of your screen as well. This doesn't actually help with multitasking, so unless you're doing a presentation, I don't think this will be that useful for most people. I will acknowledge that a select few apps have found ways to implement the external monitor, but it's still not that common at the moment. Alright, the last issue I've come across with the iPad is with its file management system. The lack of a traditional file management system makes it hard to organize your files. Here's what I mean. Files are managed on computers in a sort of folder tree structure. You have your root directory with folders and files branching out from it. It's a tried and true method of organizing files, and it lets you group project-specific files into one folder. I'm sure most people would be familiar with this. iPad OS does try to mimic this structure through the Files app, but for the most part, things work a little differently on the iPad. You see, most files are accessed through the app they're created in. To read some notes in GoodNotes, you have to access it through GoodNotes. To look at a sketch you drew in Procreate, you have to open it through Procreate. So, what does this mean? Well, effectively, you have files scattered across your iPad. Instead of having one folder with all your files in it like you would on a traditional computer, you might have 3 folders scattered across 3 different apps that each have some of the files relating to your project. In my opinion, it's not really an effective way of organizing your files. There's no central location where you can easily access all your files, and if you're coming back to a project you haven't touched in a while, you might actually forget you even have files stored in one of your many apps, which is a bit of an issue. Even so, it doesn't mean the iPad doesn't have its use cases. It's still a fantastic tablet. It's portable, it has a beautiful screen, and the Apple Pencil makes for a great sketching and writing experience. If you're looking for a device to draw, take notes, or even annotate photos with, then the iPad Pro will still be great for you. The LiDAR scanner is also a great feature for professionals who can take advantage of it. If you're someone who can utilize augmented reality, the LiDAR scanner on the iPad Pro is an accessible way to do it. Personally, I really want to use the iPad Pro more often. It's extremely portable and its form factor makes it an insanely versatile device. The specs of the iPad Pro also make it more powerful and computer-like than ever before, especially when coupled with keyboard support. But when I'm doing work, I'll always choose the device that improves my workflow. And unfortunately, as fun as the iPad is, I just don't find myself picking it up. As it stands, iPad OS stops the iPad from being a true computer replacement. Right now, I think the iPad is still a fantastic tablet that's a great complementary device to your computer. I just don't quite think it's good enough to be a computer replacement. Alright, those are my thoughts on the iPad as a computer replacement. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And let me know what you guys think of the iPad. Does it suit your needs as a computer replacement? Let me know in the comments below. And that's it. I'll see you guys next time.